There we go. Hello, everyone. This is Write the Book Now. I am Dr. Sharon, host and creator, and I am here with none other than Miss Anita Washington. She is the host of the TV show That's Anita Live and the Emotional Happiness Podcast, which provides a platform for women to learn, laugh, and more importantly, heal emotionally by learning from the challenges and successes of others. A former school and community agency counselor and creator of the 7-step method, Anita has helped guide people from the ages of 11 to 50 through their own life issues, personal transformation, and professional endeavors. I am so excited to welcome Miss Anita Washington.
Thank you, Sharon.
Hello, Anita.
Dr. Sharon Porter.
How are you?
The legend herself, running 15 different businesses over there. How you doing, Dr. Sharon?
Doing well. I tell you, we are here to talk about your new book. Oh, are you excited? Family
Yes.
is not everything. Oh my goodness. I cannot wait to talk to you about this. Oh my goodness. So Anita, I gave just a little bit about you, but please take the time to give just a little more about who you are.
Well, as you said, I am currently host of That Anita Live, which is a television show that airs in the Northern Virginia area. And it's a platform that I use to showcase women that have, one, been through devastating circumstances, so we can pull out their tips and techniques to share them with everyone to see how they rise and live a relentless life again. Because we all could use, in the sharing process, tips and techniques on how to better ourselves. In addition to that, the Emotional Happiness Podcast is the audio from the television show for people that like to consume their content, their information in a different format. So if they don't have time to sit and watch a video, they can always catch the podcast.
I love it. And so today, as I mentioned, we are here first celebrating your newest book, Family is Not Everything. And it really is something because, first of all, the title's like, whoo, okay. Okay,
Let's just go with it
here. Family is everything, but you're here to say it's not everything. So
right.
The first thing that we've got to talk about is this title. Where did this come from? Talk about it.
Everybody starts with the title because I am trying to put the information out there, set a different perspective so that people become aware of the fact that not everyone comes from a happy, functioning, sharing, loving family. And when you use your own experiences to try and give advice to somebody else, you don't know what kind of situation you're sending them back into. So we all, just like this month, October, Domestic Violence Awareness Month, it doesn't just start with or end with the couple or the husband and the wife or the boyfriend and the girlfriend. It affects the children. It affects the children because we know that childhood trauma, as I show in the book, childhood trauma turns into adult dysfunctional behavior. So we always need to be very aware that family is not everything to everyone, because to some of us, family is not everything.
That's really so true. And, you know, I've got to start with actually near the beginning of your book, back in the day. You start out talking about all of those things that we normally, in the past, yesteryear, back in the day, would not share.
Right.
We're talking about the alcoholic parent. We're talking about the abusive sibling or the abusive family member. All of those things that was taboo to share. And how not sharing them really brings about that generational curse. And that's a real thing.
Yes, it is.
So I want to start there because you have a background in counseling.
Yes.
And that is some real stuff because I actually know that people are devastated by secrets that come to life. And that's really what we're talking about, those family secrets that nobody talks about.
Yes.
So talk a little bit about how you formulated that chapter back in the day, because you started out right out the gate with that.
Right.
Talk about that.
We're not pulling no punches. We're not taking no prisoners. Here it is. Because that's the way we are now need to consume information. Holding on to those secrets that have been killing our families, as you said, a generational curse for years, for decades. Okay, now we see where that has gotten us, because we now have siblings that are murdering each other. We now have sons that are murdering their moms, and we have parents that are taking their children's lives. And all of this is a pathology of dysfunctional behavior that has existed for generation to generation to generation. And we know that once you begin to put something out, once you begin to discuss it, once you begin to talk about it, and everybody around you begins to share their own, what's going on in their family, it makes you feel better. I'm not going to say that it justifies you, but because when you hold that secret, you're feeling like, well, I am the only one that has this issue, or I am the only one that has ever been through this circumstances. And that could not be further from the truth. So when we put it out there and we begin to discuss it, then and only then we can begin to heal from it. And when we heal our families, we heal our communities.
I really love that. I really do, because that is so true. And moving on, another chapter that really grabbed me and resonated was, why do I do that? And that really speaks to finding out who you are, and seriously, why you do the things that you do. And if we don't know our history, then that question becomes more prevalent.
Right.
Talk about that, please.
Because you don't know your history. You need to know, people need to become more self-aware so that they can become aware of what they use and how they make decisions. Because it is the decisions that we make in our lives that lead us on these negative paths, that put us in all these bad situations, whether it's the bad marriage or constantly ending up on the wrong job, or constantly ending up in a bad situation, whatever it may be. Once you become more self-aware and you can figure out your dynamic for how you make decisions, then you can begin to change. You begin to take a hold of each decision that you make, and you can change your life that way. One decision at a time, you can change your entire life. So like some of the things that I pointed out in the book, some people have a preference for tea, some have a preference for coffee. Why is that? Some have a preference for grits, some have a preference for Quaker oats. Why is that? I mean, take it down to the most minute decisions that you make in your day. They all lead back to the history in our lives.
Exactly. And through this book, because you started out saying this, that everyone does not come from a happy family, a happy home. Right. And you're not even specifically talking about the immediate family, the immediate household, because it goes so far beyond that.
Yes, it does.
And we're talking, our siblings, our grandparents, our aunts and uncles, all of those things really come to play. And when the first thing that grabbed me, of course, was the title, because I am known for the hashtag FOE, family over everything, right? Family is everything. And you're here to say that you got to be aware that everyone does not have that and cannot say that.
Right.
So I want you to talk a little bit about how we can move forward and heal now, because now we are talking about certain things. It is now becoming more natural to talk about these taboo things that we in the past did not talk about. We're seeking counsel now. So these are very different from probably when we were younger and when our parents were coming up. So talk about this change and this actually mindset shift, because that's really what it is, that has now transpired here more recently.
Because it is the embarrassing moment. What you feel is embarrassing, and the secrets that you keep that keep you in a dysfunctional pattern, in a dysfunctional behavior pattern. And like you said, the mindset shift, because if one person makes the decision and walks away, that doesn't heal the entire family. So everyone has to begin to take account of their behavior. They have to take account of the words that they use. They have to take account of how they treat other people and be open to accepting people as they are. So if you're 50, you can't always just take your sibling into a headlock and put your knuckles in their forehead and everybody's over 45. Some people mature and that is no longer acceptable behavior to them. Once we begin to discuss everything, put it all out there, and people become accountable for their behavior, then we can begin to heal.
Absolutely.
Because folks have to change.
And that is so true.
That is
so true. And you know, now that, because what you're hearing is tell your story. And more people are now telling their story. I had the privilege of being in a book launch this weekend, our stories basically. And the visionary author was actually a part of my family. And her story, I did not know.
Really? See?
And I thought about you because I'm like, all of my entire life, I basically grew up with my cousin.
The author.
Yes, I grew up with her all of my life and did not know her story until I read it. So all of these years, it had been kept. And she had been hurting and going through so many things.
Yes. And you probably can think back to times that she may have said something or did something, and you were like, where did that come from?
Exactly.
No clue that she was keeping all of that pent up inside.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was a healing process to release it, to just say, this is my story. This is what I've been going through all of my life. And I've got to say, most of my cousins did not know this story. Yeah. So it's value to what you're saying. and I know that you know that, but I'm confirming because I experienced that just this weekend. So it's so helpful.
Watching her go through that process, don't you feel kind of closer to her and that you know her in a totally different way?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And someone even, it was our panel facilitator who came up to me and said, this is before she knew I was connected to her, that she saw that I was taking that all in. She said she didn't know why or what was going on. And I had to let her know, this was my relative that I've known all of my life, and I didn't know that about this person. And so it's real. It is real. And we've got to open up. We've got to start talking.
Yes.
So that people can be healed from. And it doesn't repeat, because we know that if we don't know the history, it will repeat itself.
Right.
So tell us why you decided to actually write the book, because we know the premise behind it, but why did you say, hey, I've got to publish this. I've got to get it out there?
The reason is twofold. One, because I really got tired of being in environments where women were acting out their feelings. And because I have the background, and it's also kind of a gift for me because I can feel other people's energy and kind of get a feel for what they're going through or what they're responding to. I might not know details, but I know something's there that's going on, because they need to be free. And I needed them to know that you're not the only one with that story. It doesn't matter how much education we have. It doesn't matter how many different places in the world. All these things, these external things that we treasure, we put people up on a pedestal and say, oh, no, you've never been through anything because this and this and this. None of that is true. Everybody has a story. And two, the process in the book, the 7 steps to help women heal. We have to begin to take it step by step and begin to heal. The other one was very near and dear to my heart because I got tired of people family shaming me. When I say that, well, I'm not going to go home for the holidays. It's just not a good time for me to be there amongst family. Oh, no, you got to go home for the holidays, or you can't, you cannot spend the holidays with family. It's like you all have no idea of the things that you're doing when you make these comments to people, because you're assuming you need to keep yourself comfortable. So you're assuming that you're sending everybody back into that, garland around the door, Christmas lights in the window, and the smell of apple and cinnamon on the inside. It's not like that for everybody. It's not. So, and I could also see it in the different work environments that I've been in. in September and October, when certain offices ask their employees to put in, well, how much time or what days are you taking off for Christmas? Well, those with these functional, loving, big sharing families, they know exactly what's going to go on. But for the other folks, they just kind of got quiet, and they always got left in the office. Just because you don't know your days 3-4 months in advance doesn't mean that you should be the only one always in the office during holiday time. I felt compelled to do something, and this was my first step toward making that change in the world.
I love that. And one of the, I guess, best parts of the book are the lessons learned at the end of the chapter. Like basically the takeaways from that. And there is something in every chapter that you learn from each of those accounts of that. And I absolutely love that. How do you see someone perhaps that feels that family is not everything?
Right.
How do you see them really using this book to heal?
One, I see them using the book as one relating to my trauma stories and knowing, unlocking that key that you're not the only one. Let's just dispel that myth and get rid of that up front. You're not the only one. The second thing is to look at the 7 steps and begin to work through each one of them. Each step has a technique, an affirmation, and an activity. So that one, you have an affirmation to repeat to yourself every day, so that that energy begins to emulate off of you. You know that you are becoming a better person, and you have the activities that you can actually work through to help you unlock that mindset. So when you, for instance, in the chapter 4, Fatherless Daughters, where I have them go through the activity and put together a collage of the men that they did have in their lives and the men that did say positive things to them, coaches, teachers, whomever that. Well, let's take stock of the positive experiences that you've had in your life and then build from that, because that is a great place for you to start healing.
Absolutely. And the activities are awesome. And it brought to mind your activity of celebrating self.
Yes.
We don't do that quite enough. You have certain people who definitely do it, but then you have those who will never celebrate self. Talk about the importance of celebrating self.
A lot of people, I feel, do not celebrate self because it's under low self-esteem. It's under low self-confidence. It's under low self-worth, especially that mom out there that'll hide behind her kids and say, well, yeah, we're going to celebrate. We're taking the kids to get ice cream. No. How are you celebrating yourself? Even if it's just, okay, this was a tough week at work. I need to do something for myself. Go to the spa. Now, if you want to get out there like Will Smith and bungee jump, have at it. If you want to just go down to, by yourself or with one of your girlfriends, just go down to the wig shop and try on different hairstyles. You'd be surprised at how the little girl in you will come out when you're in that shop and you're just trying on all of these different styles. It's not a permanent change. So you don't have to worry about, your hair actually being different, but it's something to take you back to the wholeness of you again. And have you remember what the sound of your own laughter sounds like. Have you remember what it feels like to just be a happy individual. Not a happy mom, not a happy sister, but just a happy individual yourself.
Love it. So I want to talk about, this is towards the end of the book, the decision to cut off family.
Yes.
That is deep, Anita.
Okay.
And one of the things that I definitely do on Write the Book Now is tell you not to tell it all, because we want them to go out and buy the book. But you've got to share just a little bit about the decision to cut off family.
Because it was a decision. If reading the book, you will see that the decision happened over like a 25-year period. It wasn't a snap decision. It wasn't something that I did in anger. And I give instances of traumatic events, disrespectful events, demeaning events that happens over and over and over again. And finally, I just had to come to the point that the last event that happened, just like I say in the book, the last event that happened, I looked myself in the mirror and I said, Anita, this is now your fault because you keep giving them access. And if they don't have access to you, then they can't demean you. They can't hit you. They can't disrespect you. You keep giving them access. So as an adult, you're taking care of yourself. You're providing for yourself. You're not in a situation where you're dependent upon them for life. You know, food, water, clothes. So it is time for you to make a choice. And are you going to fight for healthy for yourself, or are you going to stay in this dysfunctional cycle? And I chose to fight for healthy.
I love it. I tell you guys, you know, and I just recommend family is not everything for everyone, because for those of us who do have a loving family, surrounding with family, and you know exactly what's going on, or think you know what's going on, you should read it because it gives you a different perspective of individuals who don't have it. And you started out saying that, which really just helps shed the light on the thought process, because you don't always think about it the other way around, but you need to. So that's for those of us with loving families. And then for those of you who don't have that family that you can feel like that's loving and you wrap your arms around them, it really is a healing process. And the 7 steps definitely will help you do that. So Anita, please tell them where they can purchase Family Is Not Everything.
They can get Family Is Not Everything on Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
Wow. And your contact information if they want to connect with you, because I'm sure you are ready to come to speak. There's someone that maybe want to book you for a speaking engagement on this very topics or any of the topics that you bring out. How can they reach you and do that?
They can reach me, whether it's by email, Anita@thatanitalive.com. I'm on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. All the same handle, That Anita Live. And they can DM me, reach out to me anytime.
I love it. And I tell you, Anita, I just thank you. We've recently met, probably not even 6 months, but I tell you, when I say the connection is real, it is real. And I appreciate you for all that you do, your awesome show, that you bring impact to the community on That Anita Live, and now through your published work, you are still healing. So I say thank you and congratulations.
Thank you very much. Girl, you know how us Carolina girls do, North Carolina, South Carolina, you know how we are.
Absolutely. Guys, this has been a wonderful interview. And again, Anita Washington's book is Family Is Not Everything. So definitely connect with her. And if you want to book her for a speaking event, reach out to her. She will be glad to do that. I am sure. Sorry. And for those of you who are going to catch the replay.
We can't hear you.
Yes, we thank you. Okay. We thank you. We thank you. And guys, as I always say, if there's a book in you, don't wait. Write the book now.
Yes. Now. Yes.